right, joining or watching AWANI right now. Right now, I'm in Bangsa South on the program that's called Program AKAR, the collaboration between AWS and also PayNet, a collaboration that's to empower all these students in this data center. And right now, joining me is Peter Murray, the country manager of AWS. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Can you tell us a bit more on this collaboration and how it's empowering all these students?
Sure, certainly. So Program AKAR is something that PayNet have developed and ideated, and AWS feel really fortunate to have been able to partner as part of a coalition of different organisations to offer what is a 12-week intensive full-time digital skills program in AI, cloud technology and other important skills that are needed in the digital economy. But it's really focused on working backwards from closing the skills gap and upskilling in the financial services industry, where organisations like AWS are seeing tremendous opportunity since the launch of our data centres here in the country in August to work with Malaysian financial institutions to increase the way that they're able to offer advanced technologies to improve processes, to look at different ways of improving financial inclusion as well as cybersecurity and risk management. Now, for us to be able to deliver on that promise, we need to ensure that we've got the best possible talent in the industry, and what PayNet have done with Program AKAR is set out a very bold vision for talent in the country, in the financial services industry. And the AWS Restart part of that is to really sort of infuse the skills and the curriculum that these bright young talents are going to need to take the financial services industry forward in the country. So yeah, it's a super exciting day.
And we have about 1 month left going towards 2025, the new year.
Yep.
So right now, how do you see or foresee the outlook or the pipeline on the data center as we look into the bridging the gap? How do you see that we're bridging the gap, the efforts that you see right now?
Yeah, so I think we're incredibly excited. We were very excited to have been able to launch the AWS Malaysia region on the 22nd of August. So we've launched our data centres. They're now live here in Malaysia, and we've got lots of customers from different industries who are running different types of workloads on AWS Malaysia. And in 2 weeks we have our annual event called reInvent, where we'll be making a couple of announcements about Malaysian customers who are doing some pretty exciting things. So we're really looking forward to that. When we talk about talent pipeline, I think Program AKAR is just one step, and PayNet are doing an incredible job taking the lead in the financial services industry. And I'd also like to applaud organisations such as Maybank and other banking organisations who are partnering with Program AKAR and PayNet on this vision. But it's not just in financial services. We see organisations like Petronas with their Be Digital Bootcamp looking at ways that they can take skills and digital skills out to the different regions of Malaysia, working in partnerships with universities like UTP and UTIM. And I think I'm really inspired by the industry leaders who are looking to take the success and scale that they've achieved and taking the responsibility that that success and scale entails and paying it forward to skills development and the next generation of leaders here in Malaysia who are going to leverage the infrastructure and the technology that is being developed here and launched here in Malaysia and take that to build something locally that's going to go globally and across industries. And I think that's really exciting for us to just play our small part in supporting these industry leaders with curriculum or program management or funding. And we're just thrilled to be part of this journey.
So just now we just celebrated around 45 students from, if I'm not mistaken, from APU.
Yep.
So what can you say to them moving towards the industry? What's next for them?
Oh, just to think big, to be incredibly bold. It was such an exciting morning, the enthusiasm in the room. I'm blown away by how smart, how inspiring, how excited that they are. I think, if we look at these 43 graduates, some of them are going to be end up being the leaders of our financial institutions within Malaysia. Some of them will go on to become startup founders. They will build their own businesses or they will build out their own SMEs. And those startups and SMEs will employ other Malaysians, and they will grow businesses here in the country. And I hope that they will leverage advanced technology and cloud technology to build those businesses, not just in Malaysia, but build them regionally and globally as well. So, it's to think big with the platform that they're standing on right now, and I'm a little bit jealous of them as well. I think the future is very bright.
So thank you, Peter Murray, and I believe this is a great platform to give them a big potential into its industry. And congratulations to all 45 students of APU. And thanks again, Pete. I'll be with Farhan after this. Welcome back to AWANI. Earlier I spoke to Pete Murray, the country manager of AWS, and right now joining me is Farhan Ahmad, the group CEO of PayNet. How are you?
I'm good, very much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me as well at this collaboration of AWS and also PayNet. But tell us more on the program AKAR, or the Restart campaign.
So Project AKAR is a broader campaign about building the roots of talent and education in the country. AKAR obviously is roots. So Restart by AWS is one part of the Project AKAR. This is to make sure that we find gainful employment for people who need some retraining of skills that are ready for the future. And also they meet the market need where the industry needs people and a certain level of talent. And we intend to train that talent and find them a job. It's a very unique program. It's the first of its kind anywhere in the world, and certainly in Asia, which is a soup to nuts program. It doesn't just, we're not only training people, we are getting them employed with the right skill set and a bright future for them. And we're building a community around AKAR and AWS Restart that we can then replicate with other technology companies and bring more talent into Malaysia, but also grow from the grassroots talent up in Malaysia. AKAR also has projects that are dealing with primary students. We're launching one this weekend actually. That we bring young children and we teach them about the basics of financial literacy. And that will happen in our office. And we will just teach them for a whole day program to learn about money and what it means. We do something with the secondary schoolers and now the tertiary schools. So AKAR is a very broad program, quite literally trying to build the roots for the future of Malaysia.
So it's basically for future-proofing the industry, right? So Mr. Farhan, I mean, undeniably, we have. It's easy to attract talent, but to retain talent is a ongoing challenges that we have to face right now. So, what are the best strategies, especially from this program AKAR? What can we do to actually retain talent in this industry that's always evolving?
I think good talents really want the same thing around the world, no matter where you are. They want to contribute meaningfully to something that they believe in. And the statement that I just said is actually a very good HR policy. Give people a good mission. For PayNet, that mission is we want to bring prosperity to the country through financial systems. We want to give them a good mission. Then we want to make sure that we give them the room to work on something meaningful, where they can actually see their value and their contribution of what they're doing and how it affects people and the world. So we make sure we give them clarity on that purpose. The third thing that it comes down to is make sure that you have a good team. So you work with people who are aligned on that and you go together, not individually. I think if companies refocus their energies from the traditional way of looking at talent in HR and they apply this new philosophy that appeals more to the younger generations, the new generations, that want their work to be meaningful, not just about getting a salary, I think they will retain the talent. Talent leaves when they believe that this purpose is not being met for them, and then they go.
So what can you say to all these graduates that were just celebrated earlier? What are your aspirations for them, and what can you hope for them maybe 5 to 10 years to come?
I think the message I would say is the world is changing at a pace that we've never seen before. This generation will face challenges that I can't even imagine today, and they will have opportunities in front of them that I can't even predict today. So the biggest lessons that I give to people is develop critical thinking. That's the #1 skill set I believe everybody will need for the future. Question everything. Don't take anything at its face value or its word. Whether it's a book, whether it's a coursework, whether it's education, or whether it's coming from a very trusted source. Question everything that you know. And that will be the biggest foil against the future that's about to come. Second thing is build empathy. Empathy is the big differentiator between machines and humanity and human beings. And the future, when that world gets narrower between machines and humans, empathy is what separates us and will differentiate the best and the most successful people from the other ones. And the last thing I will say is creativity. Expand your brains and minds beyond just coursework. Learn new things, learn things that are unrelated, and let the creative juices flow, because that's something that machines can't do that well. And so I think critical thinking, empathy, and creativity are the foundation for a good education for the future. So I would encourage all young graduates, all young people to really embrace these things and focus on learning about them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the wise advices, not just to me, but to all the students and graduates earlier as well. And that was the collaboration between PayNet and also Amazon Web Services AWS on how we can actually future-proof the industry and its value-based early talent development on visionary leaders. And that was the conversation between the CEO of PayNet, Farhan Ahmad, and also earlier Peter Murray, country manager of AWS. And you can find this whole discussion on all of our digital platforms and also astroawani.com.